Okay, here's a little bit about the main benefits of ashwagandha. It says here that um, it boosts your immune system, and it improves your heart health, your focus, your memory, your muscle power, and strength. That's good for men and women. And if anyone wants to have a little extra spark in the bedroom, studies show that it's high concentration of the ashwagandha um, root extract improves sexual function for women and also the erectile dysfunction in men. So that's one good thing to learn about the benefits of ashwagandha. Ashwagandha. I'm probably not pronouncing it right. And it stimulates the body's function for DHEA, an antioxidant hormone that helps combat free radicals. And the free radicals that contain oxygen and even a number of electrons. Ashwagandha is a type of plant that is the adaptogen. Adaptogen. These types of plants are known for helping the body resist uh, stressors of all kinds. Therefore, the herb is probably the best known for helping combat stress and anxiety and secondary effects of those conditions like insomnia. Now, how many of you could use some ashwagandha from just that? I think it's nice. Now, I'm going to tell you the 5 steps, uh, hints to help you to grow ashwagandha. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, you guys, step 1. Here's what it says about ashwagandha seeds. Can you plant the seeds? It says you start with the soil that's sandy, just like some other things. I need to make sure I have sand if I grow this, but I don't know if it grows in Kansas or not, because that's where I live in Kansas. The soil needs to be dry and sandy. Some don't get it too wet. And the seeds thrive in the pH of 7.5 to 8. Now, that's something I've never did was test the pH of my soil. Now, I've tested the pH in my water for my fish, but never had checked it for growing food. Maybe that's why I can't grow some of the food I try to grow. I don't know. You want to sow the seeds just under the surface of the dirt, and in early spring is a good time. Make sure you do it before the frost and once the threat of frost is gone. And then you can also begin seeds indoors and transplant the seedlings, and the seeds take about 2 to 4 weeks to germinate. That's pretty long time. Step 2, guys. Step 2: the needs for the ashwagandha. Maybe by the time I'm done with this video, I'll be able to pronounce it smoothly and properly. Maybe I won't. Aside from the sun, of course, we all have to have sun to be healthy, right? So does plants. Ashwagandha does not need a great deal of care, so it's not a hard plant to grow, and it don't need a lot of watering when you're taking care of it. If you start to see cracks in the soil, then it's time to water it. It does the signs. That's the signs it's time to water. And you want to keep it. They like to grow best in 75 to 85 degrees. So if it gets too hot, then you need to water it more often. Okie dokie. Step number 3. It depends on whether you want to grow the plant as a perennial or an annual. I didn't know a plant can be either or. I like the perennials better because that way you don't have to worry about replanting it each year if you like it that way. Um, as a homesteader, developed the plant as a perennial. Go down the route every time, and I'm planting for long term. and it takes about 6 months for them to be ready to harvest. So that's a pretty long thing. You want to get in the ground right before the frost, and it takes about 6 months for harvest. So let's say frost is in maybe late April or May. I'm going to say May. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Ooh, that's a lot. The whole garden time before you can even harvest it. So get your harvest, and then you can do what you need to do for storing it during the winter, I suppose. And you want to dig up the whole plant. Now, if it's going to be an annual, you dig up the whole plant. If it's going to be perennial, you gently dig some of the soil away so it can have access to the roots. So you can have access to the roots. Just like the small white carrots, harvest what you need and replace the soil, and the plant will propagate, propagate, and the following year you will have more roots to harvest. So it's a learning process, and you have to move the soil and take the roots, and then just take what you want. I think it's probably easier to just do annual and just plant it each year and save some of those seeds that you're using if you want it. But I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. All I do know is it's got a lot of things that I could use for. So I think it's a good thing to have. So I think I'm going to have to do that. But that's number 3. Step number 4. How do we store ashwagandha? Says, although the roots have the most healing benefits, that's something I'm looking forward to. We do not want to waste any part of the plant. You don't just use the roots. I guess you can use other parts too. Pick the leaves and dry them completely and crush them up, and store them in an airtight container. Now we have those little things you can put in your jar or your whatever you're canning in, bags. Put it in there and it helps draw the moisture out. So that's airtight. The roots need to be washed and dried thoroughly and then rinse and dried again. Takes about 15 days. 15 days to dry the roots. But you can also use a dehydrator or the oven in the lowest settings. Once they're dry, 15 days. Grind them into a powder and store them in airtight containers. That sounds easy enough. Okay, the last step number 5. How do you use what you harvest of the ashwagandha? It says try using fresh or dried leaves to make tea. Use 3 or 4 fresh leaves or a teaspoon of dried powder, crushed leaves. If you are handling bitterness, try eating the berries because the flavor is bitter, and you may need a bit of honey to balance the flavors. I like honey. That's one thing we use a lot around our house is honey. For the same reason, ashwagandha powder is best when used in sweet dishes. With sweet dishes, try adding some chocolate mousse and muffins, or try um, treats like almond and fudge bites. The next smoothie you make, add a little ashwagandha powder to it, and you can also add a little to your favorite hot drinks. I don't like putting powders in my hot drinks. They don't dissolve very well. Like when I put ginger or things like that. That's a powder. They don't dissolve. It just sits on top, and I don't like that in my mouth. No, that's right. Ashwagandha powder can be mixed with water to make a paste, and you can apply the paste to your joints to help with pain. There's something you might not know. as a face mask for useful skin. I'm definitely going to try to grow some of this. And because ashwagandha can help you with hair growth, you can apply a paste to your scalp if you want your hair to grow. Let's say you have a bald spot, maybe that'll help grow some hair in there. Isn't that nice how God created things for us to be able to use for improving ourselves? I mean, our body naturally heals itself. It takes time. You have to use the herbs and things, but your body wants to do that. When you have a cut, you notice how it scabs over. That's its healing. It's healing itself. Or when you burn yourself and a blister comes on there, not a second degree burn, but that blister helps protects the skin and helps you to heal. And don't pop the blisters because the liquid in there is what's healing, what's trying to heal the burn. And you just apply to it, keep it soft, and then when it's ready, it'll be done. Anyway, that's what I like. Now, some of the side effects is what I'm going to talk to you next about. Here's some side effects. It says, and the correct dosage on how much to take. It says a standard dose of ashwagandha powder is 1,000 milligrams per day. Now, I don't have a scale to measure mine, so I don't know how I'd figure out how much 1,000 milligrams is. And it's important to note that ashwagandha is a short-term use only. Use only for 12 weeks at a time. Then you have to stop. Otherwise, this might happen. You will have problems with diarrhea and vomiting. So if you take too much, so bear witness that you've been told. You also avoid ashwagandha if you have very least if you at the very least consult your doctor if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. If you have an autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, or thyroid disorders. If you are having surgery for the next 2 weeks, and you shouldn't take any from ashwagandha in case it interacts with your anesthetic. Well, looks like I probably won't be able to take this herb after all because I have a thyroid disease. So, if you're worried about keeping your ashwagandha plant alive during the winter, you can harvest the seeds and the berries when they are brown, and peel off the brown skin and crush the berries to find the seeds. If you wash them and store them in a dry place, then they'll be ready to sow the following spring. So you don't have to worry about buying it. Just buy it the first time, and then you can continue every year to keep it growing. Share those seeds with someone else. This is a good homesteading practice because you can be self-sufficient. Now, if only I can get rid of my thyroid disease, then I can take this. But I don't want to harm myself since I know there's something wrong with my thyroid. Anyway, I hope this helps somebody. And thank God for herbs, plants, and our bodies to help to be able to take care of ourselves without having to worry. And I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate all my viewers who come in and watch. Even if you're just casual viewers, that's okay. The ones that come regularly is even nicer. But thank you for watching. And if you're new, please subscribe. That helps my channel grow. And that way, you'll be able to know when my next video comes out and you can watch all my videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day, weekend. See you tomorrow at noon for a live video. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. So if you want to learn, if you want to talk about anything in particular, leave it in the comment section so I know some ideas of what we can talk about on Saturday videos, Saturday live videos. So see you later. Have a wonderful evening. Ta-ta.